What happened when the mighty Nile River completely wiped out the borders of ancient Egypt every single year? While the annual flood brought life-saving mud to the desert, it created an absolute nightmare for the pharaoh. The massive floodwaters completely erased every single property line, fence, and landmark across the entire empire. When the water finally pulled back, farmers were left standing in a sea of identical brown mud, violently fighting over where their land started and ended. Even worse, if the borders weren't perfectly redrawn, the pharaoh couldn't collect taxes, and the entire Egyptian economy would collapse. To fix this, they couldn't just eyeball a straight line. A tiny 1-degree mistake at the start of a field would completely ruin property lines for miles, causing mass riots. So the pharaoh deployed a highly specialized unit of ancient engineers known as the rope stretchers. Their only tool was a simple piece of rope, but it held a mathematical superpower. The engineers tied exactly 12 evenly spaced knots into the rope. Then, 3 men would step into the thick mud. The first man held the starting knot. The second man walked out and held the 4th knot, creating a side of 3 segments. The third man pulled the rope tight at the 8th knot, creating a second side of 4 segments. This left exactly 5 segments for the longest connecting side. When all 3 men pulled the rope as hard as they could, the extreme tension forced the string to automatically snap into a mathematically flawless 90-degree right angle. Using this primitive tool, they perfectly rebuilt the empire's grid year after year. Thousands of years before the Greek philosopher Pythagoras was even born, Egyptian engineers were already using his legendary theorem in the mud to save their civilization.